You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom.
AKA worthlessly lazy, but so game crazy. I
am Church of the Game Grinder, and as always, joined by my excellent co-host.
Me, Jason from Blood Gaming.
Yes, you are. And this is episode 76.
Holy shit. Fallout 76 super special time.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
We could make this whole episode about Fallout 76.
Canvas bag extravaganza. Okay.
One of the best comments I've seen as of recent about Fallout 76 was somebody razzing the game about like the lack of inclusion of the promised canvas bag. And I saw one of the best comments is that the real canvas bag was the friends we made along the way.
Hell yeah.
So what we got going on this episode?
Oh, quite a lot. As always, we're full of cool shits to talk about. Some new shows based on games. Some trailers for games that you're probably not very excited about, unless you're us. And, some potentially cool things that other people might not give a shit about. We're going to leave you in suspense. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, stick around because it's going to be fun. Either way.
Yeah.
They're already gone. So we might as well just shoot the shit. What's up? What you been up to, my buddy?
I have been playing games as per usual.
Like board games or video games?
Video games. A lack of board games, actually, as of recent. I actually have a group of friends that we do like board games, card games, stuff semi-regularly. I need to schedule something here pretty soon.
Boom.
But no, it's been kind of, in a way, I've been more so participating in some like Game of the Month games for the Cartridge Club. In a way.
Because
last for June, Cartridge Club's the CC Prime Game of the Month was Uncharted 2, and I figured that was the perfect opportunity to finally play through that. I've had the Uncharted series on the PS3 for years, and I've only played the first one.
Yeah, I'm along with you on that. I have every Uncharted game except the Vita game. And I only got about halfway through the first one and then kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I was thinking back because you had done a video that I was supposed to do a response video to that I've never done. Was like
it's never too late. It's an open.
That's true.
There's no deadline.
It was the
we're pushing it.
I don't remember the exact title. It was like game series that you need to play, top 5 game series you need to play, and one of them was Uncharted. And I was like, yep, I need to play through those.
Yeah.
Well, I'm making steps. Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Uncharted 2, though, I think it was, I think for a lot of people, that's their favorite in the series. It was an improvement over the first one. I'm still, I don't love the Uncharted games as much as the people who love the Uncharted series do.
Yeah, I gave him a lot of guff at first because it was like, oh, cool, it's like Tomb Raider, but it's like a male protagonist. I was like, oh, cool, it's like Indiana Jones. And, I mean, that's not a bad thing, honestly.
No.
Things that are derivative of Indiana Jones can be awesome.
I think it has less of the, the Tomb Raider, climbing sort of. I mean, there's climbing and stuff in Uncharted games, but Tomb Raider does it a little differently. They make that more of a focus, where Uncharted is really heavy with
It's more of the Yeah, it's
waves.
more of the adventure and like going through waves of enemies.
Which the waves of enemy, like the constant like, dude has killed so many people. Like, holy shit!
I'll say the set pieces are very Tomb Raider. That's like what like the setting is more than the actual gameplay. Is what it kind of threw me off, and like I was enjoying the first one enough from what I played of it. But
you got to remember when Uncharted first came out, we didn't have the Tomb Raider reboot series, so
yeah,
a lot of people. The older Tomb Raider series, like I love. I mean, especially like the classic Tomb Raider games.
Mm-hmm.
The later series stuff is still pretty good, but that's when it starts to get a little bit more like
it was very hit and miss.
set pieces and things like that.
Yeah.
But still, there's a big difference. Uncharted definitely took like a heavy like narrative, story focused set piece kind of adventure, which the stories are great and the characters are great and everything.
Mm-hmm. I've always it's one of those games where I'm like the first one's probably the weakest, which is like there's a couple of series like that. So it's like Assassin's Creed, like the first one was such a slog that I was just like, are they all like this? Because I'm just gonna stop now. Everyone's like, no, push through the first one, and other ones will get better.
Yeah,
and that was true. And then I heard like the first one's got some problems, but I'm like, I don't know. From what I actually played, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I'll have to get back to it because from what I hear, 2 and 4 are like games to not miss.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to check out, you can now listen to the Cartridge Club episode of Uncharted 2. It's available. Pretty good.
Definitely do that.
Yeah, and then the game of the month for July is Arkham City. I have played Arkham City, and I played it at release, so it hasn't been that long. I didn't really want to replay that necessarily when I hadn't beaten Arkham Knight, so I decided to play Arkham Knight instead.
It's one less thing I can rip on you for.
Yeah.
And constantly razz you to do.
Yeah. And no, Arkham Knight is awesome. I have a feeling a lot less people played Arkham Knight than the other two games.
Well, especially if people are playing it on PC.
Yeah, especially if they're playing it on PC. And now 4 years later, it plays pretty well on PC, but it still has some issues. Usually I would say like once an hour I get like a soft lock where like basically the game freezes for like 10 seconds and then it's just starts going fine again. And then usually within another hour I'll get like a hard crash, like straight to desktop. And it's not my computer for sure.
Probably a computer.
And I know there's other glitches. I didn't really encounter much other issues, except for the end of the game. I actually I played through all the story. I did all the side objectives except for the Riddler stuff. And there's 2 endings to the game. There's like the bad ending and the good ending. And the good ending, you have to do all the Riddler stuff too. Or the bad ending's only like half of it's like the first half of the good ending, and you don't get all the extra stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing all this Riddler shit. It's like so tedious.
Oh yeah.
And I was just gonna take the bad ending and watch the good ending on YouTube. Well, apparently if you finish the main story of the game and you do all objectives besides the Riddler stuff, it glitches and it won't let you start the bad ending at all.
You'll get no ending if you don't do the Riddler.
So basically what you're supposed to do apparently is when you beat the game, you need to still have like another side objective like incomplete. And then you finish that up and then it kicks in. It's stupid and it's a glitch. And last night I was super pissed off about it. Because I was like, I had a lot of fun playing the game and now I got to end cap the game with like, it's going to be at least 5 hours, 6 hours, I think. Because I've already put in a couple hours just doing like one of the 3 islands. And I'm still not done.
So
it's kind of like
I opted to revisit the game as I never did all the Joker or the Riddler stuff myself. And I said, How about I suffer through it with you?
Don't do it.
Because I also have to get. There's also the DLCs that I haven't played, so I can do all that crap, and then to not leave a terrible taste in my mouth, I can play through the DLCs and enjoy them.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that.
There we go.
I think the season pass is only like $10.
Yeah, I got it ridiculous. I think it was like $3 or $4 on like Christmas sale or something. So I just grabbed it and I was like, I'll play it at some point.
But I will say, if you can play the PC version and you can run it at max settings, holy crap, does this game look good. There's besides the just typical like kind of graphical improvements that PC versions have over console versions, there's also like some NVIDIA exclusive settings that you can enable if you have a good enough graphics card, which like you don't need like a 2000 series or anything, but I got like a 980, like a high-end 980, which is old at this, a few years old anyways. But goddamn, the game looks good. I can't run it in 2K at max settings, but I can run it at 1080 and get 60 FPS. And it's just like these little additional NVIDIA settings, like just kind of, I don't know, it's simple things, but it enhances a lot. Like there's a lot of like that makes the rain like a lot better, and it kind of like interacts with the environment more. There's like all Steam, which there's lots of Steam in the Arkham games. It's kind of, gritty and whatnot. Like the Steam itself becomes like, it interacts with like, if you walk past it, like the Steam will like kind of trail you for a little bit and then like dissipate.
You're exaggerating. I've seen Steam on 3 occasions through the entire series.
Well, and then there's like one setting that I thought was interesting is blowing paper. Like if you played the game on console, your city is not littered with papers just blowing around.
Yeah, there is.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Remember, there's like garbage everywhere.
Well, this makes it like super like. No, it's great. It's great. That's all I'll say.
It's just a subtle way of being like, PC is trash.
Yeah. But no, Arkham Knight's great. It took me a little bit to kind of get reacclimated because they don't go through the tutorial stage again because they're like, hey, you've already played 3 of our games. You should know how to play it. It's been a few years, so I didn't really, remember like all the like specialty uses with the tools and stuff. So it kind of took me a little while to kind of like find my bearings again.
Just get acclimated to.
But now I'm just like, now I'm like I'm Batman. Like I don't fuck with me. I take out crowds of enemies, and the Batmobile I actually dig quite a bit. And if you get sick of doing the Batmobile, then you just fly around, and you get tired of flying around, or gliding, I should say. Yeah. You're tired of gliding? Use the Batmobile. It's actually a pretty nice kind of like.
I preferred it. But especially if you played the other ones to like excess.
Yes.
Like you're kind of like, all right, I'm kind of over. There'll be that part where you like can't seem to find anything to grapple on.
Yeah.
And you're like, where it becomes like everything seems like it's more in your way. Like, how am I not grappling anything yet?
Yeah.
But
the story is pretty wild. There's some pretty neat twists that they threw in there that I was like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't expect that. And yeah, it's good stuff. It's
excellent game. Yeah, the biggest complaint I've heard about that game, besides all the PC shit when it came out, was like people felt like the Batmobile got shoehorned in there a lot. I'm like,
I don't think so.
No, I liked that you use it more. Like,
yeah, I like that you use it. Period.
The only thing I didn't like that to do with the Batmobile is the stupid Riddler races. Like they were fine, they were whatever. But, like I just prefer to not do them. It was just like the
to free Catwoman.
Yeah, whatever. I don't remember.
Like you take the elevator down and do the little course.
Yeah.
The key for.
Yeah, all the courses and stuff. Yeah,
like that wasn't too bad. I'm not doing any of the AR stuff.
Yeah, they're fine, but I was gonna say it's basically the Batmobile version of the combat challenges.
Yeah.
Because there's the times you had to beat to get the certain. I think there even is in the challenges like races like that.
Oh, those might be the Riddler. Some of the Riddler ones. Whatever. Yeah. It's great. if anybody hasn't played this and you like any of the other Arkham games, you're doing a disservice by not playing Arkham Knights. Like,
I told you.
I mean, I know I got some recency bias going on, but it's, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what my ranking of the games is. And it's a tough call. Because they're all great.
Damn right.
Yeah, and so I should probably move on. One game I want to draw attention to. I shared something when it was first released. It's a game called Touhou Luna Night. It's just a random entry in the series of what are generally like shoot 'em ups or bullet hell shooters, this Touhou series. But they decided to do kind of like a spin-off game. It's Metroidvania. And this game is so good. It's kind of short. It was only like maybe like 6 hours or so. But if you like sprite-based like Metroidvanias, like, oh man, they went all out with their character animations. It has kind of an interesting approach to the gameplay. Instead of like, you know, having you like swords or whatever basic weapons, like you use is basically a projectile attack. Like she summons not like knives and she shoots them at the enemies, and then you have like a kind of like a magic meter that depletes as you shoot knives. So you kind of gotta like balance your attacks with your magic. And then there's some like you get some additional attacks throughout, but then there's also this really neat time mechanic where you can, in some situations, you can like freeze time, so you can like queue up like 100 daggers and stuff, and sometimes you gotta like slow time to like get through obstacles.
Sweet.
Really sweet game. The story was pretty nonsense. They don't like introduce any of the characters. Like they kind of assume you know who these characters are, and even if you know who these characters are, it doesn't really matter like at all. It's just a story to progress you through the game, which is fine, but the gameplay itself is really fun. And like I said, the design and the sprite work is like one of the best.
Yeah, it's like one of those, I think it's kind of a thing with Metroidvanias. A lot of the time the story's pretty lacking. There's a couple with like really, really good stories, and then there's some where you're like, they just kind of go, you're not here for the story, you're here for the gameplay. They just throw it out the window.
Yeah, so definitely Touhou. It's Touhou, Luna Night. I definitely recommend checking it out. I'm not sure if it's on consoles as a digital game. It's available digitally for PC. I actually had it on my Steam wish list, and a friend actually bought it for me for my birthday, which was pretty awesome. I didn't expect that at all.
Sweet. I picked up one just the other day, actually, a cool Metroidvania game called Death's Gambit. Have you heard of it?
I've heard the name, but I'm not too familiar with it.
It's released by Skybound, the same people who are doing the Walking Dead and the Dungeons and Dragons games re-release.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually from Adult Swim games, which I felt kind of weird because I'm like, I don't think this is based on any Adult Swim shows.
Oh, I'm checking out some screenshots, and this looks pretty cool.
It looks really, really cool. So it's a really budget game too. I think it was $25 on Amazon or $23 or something. And I was just like, it looks sick. I will snag it. I can't remember. I saw someone talking about it. It might have been. I think it was Rad Uncle Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked super sick. So I was just like, I will pick it up at that price.
And it is available on Steam, and it's mostly positive. So it seems to be, it's probably a pretty good game. I think a lot of times, especially with Steam ratings, you can get a pretty good, like, general. Everything's grain of salt, you know. A game could be hated, and you could
be a review bombed.
Well, Valve actually, Steam has countermeasures against review bombing.
That's neat. That's the way you got to do it.
But I just added it to my wish list.
I just randomly grabbed that because I was like, I don't know. I like to check out lesser known games and shit. And I decided to bring it up because it kind of reminded me about it.
It's hard to go wrong with most Metroidvanias. I don't think I've played a bad Metroidvania.
No, and if I have, it wasn't long enough to commit it to memory.
Yeah.
So it's waste
but-
memory on shitty games. But
Yeah. But then, I guess, kind of speaking of Metroidvanias, and some people don't like the term Metroidvania. Some people call them Igavanias because it's more so a style that Igarashi came up with. Much as last episode, since then I'd finished Bloodstained. I guess we're gonna save a chat for Bloodstained. For a little later in the podcast, I think.
But yeah, you can bookmark it here so that you did in fact beat it.
Yes.
As did I.
Yep.
Actually,
True ending, all that goodness, full map coverage.
Yeah, I got everything, the full monster thing. I think I'm.
I didn't go that far.
I think I'm missing. Well, at the end of the game, I was only missing 2. I think.
Yeah,
I was like, I can kill those 2. There was one like hidden one on the train.
Yeah.
The
one.
Yeah, did you do that guy? He was kind of.
No,
weird.
I still hadn't gone back and did it.
It's like a 2-minute cutscene where you're looking out a window and then you like see him standing in the lake just dancing, and then all of a sudden he's just in the window.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of cool. My daughter was super into helping me find the last couple of rooms that I was missing out of the map, and I didn't use any like type of guides, so that took me a lot longer than it should have, because I like literally walked through everyone. This was like hitting walls and shit, and then when I had all the powers, I went back and I was like, all right, we'll check everything out.
Yeah, and I'm actually missing a room, I think, because if you're a backer, you can actually get 100.10%, and I don't have that. I just have 100%. So,
Bruh.
Yeah, no, it's like
you're doing yourself a disservice.
I know.
Why'd you even back it if you're not gonna get that 0.1%? Yeah, it was actually kind of a pain in the ass. Like, it was the most insignificant hidden room was the one that took me the longest time to find. Like, I was at like 99% running around like, come on, and I'd find another one and it'd be like still 99%. I'm like, that whole room didn't count as 1%.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. Besides that, I actually beat Curse of the Moon again on my Xbox before the game I was trying to play. So I game share with my friend, and I've had both the Arkham games installed on my One X digitally from him, even though I own the physical copy of it, for like probably a month now in anticipation of the July game of the month. I was going to play through Asylum and then City, but I've been a bit busier than I've anticipated lately, so I figured I'd just jump right into City, and if there's time, I'll go back. But when I went to start up City, it's like, oh yeah, you need to install this. I'm like, what's it doing sitting here in my installed games and then not starting up? So literally like re-downloaded it and installed, and took a long ass time. And in the time, I just was like, fuck it, I'll play some Curse of the Moon, and ended up beating it. And then I finally, when I beat it, I looked at the percentage and it was like 72% still, and I'm like, but it's like right. But on Xbox, I don't remember if PlayStation does it. Before it's fully installed, you can start it up and play a bunch of it anyway.
I think it depends on the game.
And it goes, yeah, I think every game does it on the Xbox. It just goes like ready to start. So I played it, and then I played to like where I could play. There's a part near the beginning where you're trying to get into the steel mill where Joker is, and I don't know if you remember from playing this, where you have to go down the big smokestack to get into the steel mill because it's all barricaded.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let me grapple to it because it would be like, oh yeah, this content's not ready yet. So I was just like, okay. So I just sat there for like, I think I just switched it off and watched some TV until it was ready, and then like, yeah. So then, yeah, that's what I've been playing since then, is Arkham City. Having a good time. It's a game I don't know if I've ever told you. I enjoy Batman games.
What?
Yeah, a little bit.
A
little bit of a closet Batman fan. So it was a good excuse to revisit one of my favorite games.
Yeah. Yeah, and for anybody who's not aware, Jason's a huge Batman fan.
So yeah, I'm loving going back through it. For not really having played it since I beat it at launch, aside from like just putting it back in to do the DLCs when they came out, I find I'm remembering a lot more than I should. Like things that are probably supposed to stump me, I'm like, oh yeah. It turns out it's over here, kind of thing, and I'm like, oh. So I'm kind of like bulldozing this thing, which is okay. Which means I might have time to go back to Asylum, which will be hopefully harder for me to remember because I haven't played that since it originally came out. So that'll be. So actually, I was looking forward to that one more almost because it's been so long since I played that. But yeah, definitely because I'm gonna be part of the Cartridge Club podcast for that at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't played Arkham City, get on it.
If you haven't played Arkham Asylum.
If you haven't played Batman game in general, if there's a Batman game you haven't played, get on it. or I'm on you like I am on Church to play every Batman game.
Yeah.
I just realized most of the things they berate you for not playing are just Batman related things.
Well,
you don't own Batman Returns, buy that shit.
Yeah.
You haven't played Batman VR, come on. So at least you got Arkham Knight out of the way. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well, still working on it, I guess.
Semi out of the way.
I need to get like 200 more fucking Riddler stupid shits.
You're trying to try.
Yeah.
So I can't berate you anymore. Yeah. Unless you quit, of course.
No, I'm not going to quit. I'm just using now because I really like, even with the other, I think Arkham Asylum, I think I did all the Riddler stuff.
Yeah.
City, I was like, nah. Origin, I didn't finish. Just in general. I should probably revisit that.
Yeah. Do it.
Yes. Might have been a little hard on it.
I think everyone was really hard on that game. I really liked the story of it. It was like I don't know, I
think we just needed more time.
It was like Batman Begins, basically.
Yeah.
It's like early, like that scene where he like is solving some random murder, and he's like, some guy that goes by the name the Joker, and you're like, he doesn't even know who the Joker is. Holy shit! And a lot of people were like basically hard on it from the get go before they even played it. Like, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill don't play Batman and the Joker in it. Dibs out.
Pretty lame.
Oh, it's not Rocksteady.
I will that, and it's unfortunate though because like, especially Arkham Knight, but the others like Joker is like one of the best things about the Mark Hamill Joker is like one of the best things about Batman. Period.
Well, Kevin Conroy is the animated series Batman, and he's one of the best things about Batman. Period.
Yeah, that too.
That's why those were the most like iconic.
Yeah.
Of both, totally. They've been them more than all the people that get more credit for it.
And they've been the best versions of them too.
Like when I think of Mark Hamill, I don't even think of Luke Skywalker first. I actually think of him being the Joker. Like he's played some of the most badass characters with his voice acting. Like he's been Wolverine, he's been Joker. So whatever. Yeah. Those are my two. That's my favorite Marvel character and my favorite DC character. So.
Right on.
But it is. So yeah, definitely play Batman games is what we're saying here.
So let's jump into the retro game highlight here. Last time, Jason had talked about Golden Axe Warrior.
What you know about Golden Axe Warrior?
I don't know nothing because I don't have it still. Shit. But this time, I was kind of thinking, I was trying to find something topical, and nothing was really jumping out at me. And I just started thinking about a recent conversation, and retro game highlight for this week is going to be Final Fantasy V. I think the most underrated Final Fantasy game in the whole series, and it's one of my favorites, and it is awesome.
It's just because it was not released here and it was in between two other titans of Final Fantasy-ness?
And I actually prefer 5 over 4 myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems to be a general consensus, honestly.
Most people like you kind of got two camp. Well, you got multiple camps. It's usually most people their favorite Final Fantasy is the first one they played. But that's just a lot of people in general, it seems, which kind of bothers me. Because Final Fantasy VI wasn't my first Final Fantasy. I played the first one. I played 2, American 2. I played Mystic Quest, and I played 6 or 3. I played them all before I got to whatever. Anyways, it was years later I played 5, and I was like, holy crap, the glory days of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, man.
Awesome game, great, crazy story. It kind of like there's the copies a few things, much as Final Fantasy games do. But
I really wonder why they never brought it out here.
I don't know. It's unfortunate because we had original. We had the NES version. We had 2.
Yeah.
It's like
but they skipped like 2 and 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? And even when they put them out on the PlayStation, there's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, they just didn't
9.
sell well, honestly. And the Japanese, of course, we all know the story with Mystic Quest. Is the Japanese just thought we were too dumb?
Yeah, give the American.
I can largely agree with the American public in general. Of course, none of you listeners, you are all amazingly awesome people, very intelligent and very handsome.
Or Canadian.
But no, Final Fantasy V is so good, and it's shame so many people who say, "Oh, I like the Final Fantasy games," haven't played 5, but they played 10. It's like what? What?
I played 10 twice. No, two separate.
Yeah. So, Final Fantasy V. You played 5?
Yep. I've got the Super Famicom card, actually. It was my first time actually trying it, was when I got it there, because I had it on the Origins collection or whatever volume it is. All of them have a different one, Chronicles, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I never got around to trying it on there, but I tried to try it on Super
That's
Nintendo.
the one I played the PlayStation, the one that was released in the PlayStation.
Sweet.
So yeah. With that said, let's talk about some new stuff. Got some announcements, some games being announced.
I'm excited about this new group that started up, though. It's not a new group, but it's a new Facebook group that we are.
I love for the Cartridge Club on this episode because the Cartridge Club is a great community. I highly encourage everybody to check it out. Just if you want to be involved in a cool community, like even if you don't want to play along with a game of the month, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, I have no interest in that game. I'm not going to play that game. But if you just want to be involved with a really cool community of just super friendly people, it's not toxic at all. Like we don't even have to like chase away toxic people. There's just like
you can be involved as much or as little as you can. Like a lot of the time, the game of the month is a game I've already beaten. So I'm like, sweet, I'll listen to them talk about it, but I don't think I need to play it again.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of games that they basically don't they take like a vote on it?
They like the hosts pick some games. They'll throw some games out to like the Patreons, and then they'll do like some community votes. Like it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. So
how they come up with them.
So yeah, but it's a generally well-liked games or games that they feel should get some that a lot of people would like if a lot of people aren't talking about it, and they kind of it's all over the board too. It'll be a new game, an old game.
Yeah.
So it's usually isn't one of their goals to be like it's a really accessible, like you can get it on multiple platforms, you can get it on multiple generations.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
Usually accessibility is a thing. I mean, there's been some like console exclusive games that they've picked, but you can't win them all.
You can if you have all those systems.
Yeah, and then along with the regular like game of the month, they also have the CC Portable podcast, which is a handheld game of the month, and those anything from Game Boy to 3DS, everything in between.
I've been really wanting to check out this month's game they got going on for that too, because I own it and I've never played it, but I've always heard good stuff about it. They got Super Princess Peach on the DS.
And last month they had Batman.
Hell yeah, they did.
So, but yeah, Cartridge Club, great community. It's people who like video games, content creators, collectors.
Honestly, if you like video games, there's no excuse not to be.
Yeah,
there's something for everyone there.
It's great, and and if it's a thing that you get into and you like the members, a lot of times conventions will have like almost every convention there's Cartridge Club people there.
Represent. Yep.
And there's the yearly Cartridge Club meetups, and it's great. It is really great. But as we were saying, there's a new Facebook group. There is a Cartridge Club Facebook account, but that was more just kind of like advertising like the game of the month or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they started a new group to really like get people who use Facebook kind of like more involved and included. And
yeah, I feel more. It's been like not even a week.
And not even a week.
I already feel way more involved than previously, because before they were more active on Twitter or on their own website.
Yep.
And I checked it from time to time, but I'm more. I guess I'm more of like a lurker or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really.
Totally
I didn't really interact, but like I feel way more. Like they said, you can be as much or as little involved as you want. So I feels good to be more involved, because a lot of cool people, a lot of people I've met in real life. I've made new friends through it. So I definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, so look up Cartridge Club on Facebook if you use Facebook. They are on pretty much. You can find the Cartridge Club on like the main Cartridge Club account on basically any social media, and you can, if you're just getting introduced to things, like you kind of branch off from there. You start kind of meeting some of the other members and checking out some of the, like if you like watching videos about games, there's all kinds of creators involved. A lot of them you might be familiar with. Various podcasts that aren't the actual Cartridge Club podcast. So yeah, check them out. They also got, I guess their Discord. Like I still don't use Discord myself, except like if I'm playing on PC games with friends, then we use just so we can chat easy. But I need to probably start checking out the Discord, because that sounds like that's kind of becoming one of their big hubs now as well.
A lot of people seem to be jumping on Discord now.
Yeah.
I got it because Chris invited me to his.
It's basically just
pretty cool. Yeah, it's just another chat room.
ICQ.
Yeah.
Of today with voice chat now, if you want. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just basically another kind of like message board in a way. Yeah. So that is great. So my big exciting news, and maybe I can start a new running record for how many episodes I can talk about this series. But I'm sure if you follow me, you saw the Way Forward has released or shown off the new intro animation cinematic for Shantae 5. And it is done by Studio Trigger, who are well known for some of the anime series they do. Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academia. Very highly regarded as their animation style. Very like fluid, even if it's a little kind of fast-paced at times, I guess.
Oh, I thought it really, really popped. I liked the animation they had going. Wasn't as much of a fan of the music, but I really liked the intro.
The music's very kind of like, it's a 30-second. I don't even think it's 30 seconds in total, but it's just like a little quick little song, just a little intro for the game.
Wasn't even the music. It was actually just who was singing.
Well, that's Christina V, and she's the voice actress for Shantae.
Yeah, I know. I got it. But the singing, I don't know. The voice as the voice, it's fine. But I'm just gonna shut up. You didn't rip on Batman, so I'll leave Shantae alone.
Anyways, yeah. So Shantae 5, cinematic if you want to check it out. It's just getting me more hyped. And then along with that, we got some new kind of like Shantae merch available. Volks USA has finally put out the Chara Guman figure for Risky. If you're interested in that, they already released Shantae and Roddy Tops' figures. I've shared pictures of those in the past. Of course, I got the Risky Woots figure on pre-order, and then Volks is also doing. There's like the summer keychain or summer festival they're doing where they got some like new Shantae keychains, which I've shared pictures of before, which you buy like a set and you take a picture of it, you can get a free keychain. That's kind of neat. So if anybody's interested in that sort of stuff.
I like keychains.
I'm not crazy about keychains, but when it comes to official Shantae merchandise.
What's wrong? Don't you have keys? Just kidding. I was just taking the Blizzard approach. Don't you guys have keys? I'm a piece of shit. Sorry.
And then on some other way forward news that I'm pretty stoked about, they also announced their upcoming beat 'em up, River City Girls.
I love beat 'em ups.
I do too. And especially when they are like super pixel art goodness. I love my fluid pixel art sprites. So this is in the River City genre, the Kunio-kun series, but it's not using the same style as before. There might be some throwbacks somewhere in the game, I'd imagine, but I think it looks pretty cool. They got a trailer out where you can see some of the gameplay. I am stoked.
I like all the River City games I've played anyway. There's a whole bunch of like kind of different styled ones, like sports ones and everything, and even like I'm not a fan of sports games, but even those are cool as shit.
Super Dodgeball for the NES. So good.
Yay.
You want to talk about the Netflix announcements?
There's some good ones. They are bringing back Ghostbusters. I'm just kidding. They are bringing out a Cuphead series.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere.
Absolutely out of nowhere. So that's cool to hear.
Hopefully,
the best part of that is the animation. Like that's the eye catcher of what got so much attention for the game was the cool animation style. So as long as they keep it for the cartoon, which I don't know why they wouldn't.
And while we're on that topic, I just want to like kind of shame. Like I don't try to get political on this podcast. I try to keep politics off the podcast.
Just shut up.
There was there's a few sites actually, very progressive sites that are really they're essentially condemning Cuphead because the style it's inspired by. Even though the Cuphead doesn't have like any like racist undertones, doesn't use any of those, like old racist animations. They're saying because it's in a similar style that it shouldn't be celebrated and people shouldn't like it because it acknowledges old animation, which animation was in that style for many, many years, like racist or non-racist.
Those are a product of the time. The whole thing that was what it was.
And it's not saying Cuphead's not like, oh, we like this art style because it's whatever.
Oh man, I miss old racism. Let's bring it back.
It's really silly, and I think they're really reaching to try to just be offended by things.
If there was any like blackface characters or something, you could definitely go that way. Like, come on, man, don't have the blackface characters in there, but they don't. It's all like happy going animation, just none of it. I don't know how you can even take that out of that.
Yeah.
There's no racist characters in the whole thing, and most of them aren't even like people. They're like flowers and random inanimate objects with a face. So how can you even be racist with that shit?
Yeah.
I mean, they must have played the game and just been like, it's because that.
I don't even think
that Daisy was racist.
The people who are complaining about this, I assure you, did not play the game.
Yeah.
Assure you. Anyways.
Yeah, so there's that.
There's that.
super excited for that show to come out. Also, I'm a little worried about another show we've been talking about a little bit here and there on a series that I do like, and that's The Witcher. I'm still excited to see the show. I'm happy they're doing it, but the more and more pictures I see of it, the more like kind of worried I get. Like Henry Cavill as Geralt looks pretty good, better than I initially thought when they mentioned him. But like I think we talked about how the armor for the knights and shit just looks really like plasticky and cheap. But one thing I noticed in the new pictures they just put out a few days ago is Geralt only has one sword, and like that's something that really bugs me. Is because if you know anything about Witcher, he always has two swords. He has the one regular sword for fighting like whatever, and then he has the other sword for fighting like fantasy creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of like his whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the explanation is there, because that's one of the things I thought was cool about him. Two swords is better than one swords. I'm not gonna rage too much about it. Hopefully they've got a cool reason. But yeah, I'm a little more leery the more pictures I see of it. Like, I hope it doesn't suck, because I really like this story of the series and all the lore in that world. So I'd hate to see it brought out and kind of just watered down.
Yeah.
But speaking of watering shit down, did you see that new Turok game? They took Turok Dinosaur Hunter and turned him into an isometric chibi character.
Is it a mobile game?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's a PC game. And yeah, it looks kind of crap. I mean, it might be fine for what kind of game it is, but I don't know why they needed to even put Turok's name on it. Like, he still kills dinosaurs, but they're like cute dinosaurs. Why would you kill them? So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's like
it might as well just be like Hello Kitty Dinosaur Hunter or something, because it's the farthest departure I can think of for a series. That'd be like if they made this, like, they might as well just made Doom Guy do this. except no, don't do this with Doom Guy.
I'm pretty sure like every Turok fan, well, probably most, were like, oh crap, new Turok game, and they click on the link and then they see it and they're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Turok fan. I have every Turok game, and I love the Turok games. Though 2008 one wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. I'm not that huge of a fan that it angers me. I just think it's kind of like why. And
it could be, maybe it'd be cool. Maybe, I don't know. It just doesn't look. I mean, it's not a Turok game.
That's what I said. It could be a cool game as it is.
It's some other game that they're just slapping the name on there for name recognition. Like, even if you watch the gameplay, like,
yeah, I did.
It's not. It's like
nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically. I would compare it more to like, kind of like classic Zelda, or maybe even like Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not angry about it. I don't care enough to be angry. I'm pretty hard to trigger on stuff, except for don't talk shit about Batman. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I don't know why they do this kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's about as perplexing as like why they took that game that looked really cool and scary, and then they just like slapped the Blair Witch name on the end of it. Except at least that is the genre of the game.
Yeah. And the setting and everything.
Yeah. So last time we were like, why though? This time we were like, for real though, why? So, it is what it is. I'm not too bothered by it, but it's also like, maybe they'll bring out a proper Turok game if this makes any money at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be cool to see a next gen Seen what they've done with Wolfenstein and what they've done with Doom and all that. Like,
Totally.
I'll see what they do with Turok. I don't know. Were you ever a fan of the other Turok games?
I didn't play all of them, and I never really played through the campaigns. I played mostly multiplayer with friends on the 64.
Cerebral Bore. That's my favorite part of the entire series.
Well, because it's like cheap as hell too.
I didn't really play a lot of the multiplayer. I was actually
Multiplayer someone gets that and like, what are you gonna do? You ain't gonna do.
It locks onto you and you're done.
And you're done. Like, you got no chance.
But you can't even be mad when you hear that grindy crunching of it drilling into your head. Like you're like, you got me. Cheap as hell, but I can't stay mad at that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of another thing that's like, why?
So I can slap this in here, maybe use it in the title and boost our SEO. Talk about the Switch Lite.
Yeah. So another, to reiterate, why though? I mean, I guess besides the cheaper price tag, so people have access to it. Why though? It can hook up to your TV. It's lighter. The battery life's supposed to be better, but it can hook up to your TV. It doesn't dock.
Smaller.
Yeah. Which is especially lighter.
HD Rumble, which was like HD Rumble was like a selling point of the Switch.
I find it kind of annoying actually.
Well, really leaned heavy on it.
And the funny thing is, if you think I'd be like, oh, that's all I use mine as, because like I've still to this day I have not ever hooked mine up to the TV. It's docked right under my TV, and I've never played it on the TV, not once. And I've played a pretty significant amount of it at this point. It's still not my favorite, but like I've said before, if I'm sitting in the game room playing a game, it's on one of my older systems or the Xbox or PS4. That's just kind of like my bring it somewhere system, or even if I'm like sitting upstairs on the couch.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Now,
maybe.
I see most people argue, well, the kind of people that are kind of like, whatever. A lot of people are saying this is more for kids and more for kids who do not already own a Switch. It's a cheaper option. Yeah.
What another thing I've been hearing, which makes it even like more like why though, is that I've heard the base model is getting like an upgrade, like the CPU and all that stuff in it, like a new battery kind of thing. So
that I'm interested in. Like I'm waiting. Like I'd be more sold on a Switch Pro that actually. I mean, I'm not going to play a Switch in handheld mode ever. Like I have no interest in playing handheld. So I want to play dock.
Don't you poop?
I want it to play. I usually check Instagram.
I'm just kidding.
I want it to be able to play. I'd like 1080. I'd like at 60 FPS. The people are like, "Oh, I don't notice the difference between 38 and 60 FPS." One, you're a liar. Two, I have standards. Let's not. I mean, it'd be cool if you could, have a multi-platform game that you get the same experience on whatever system you play it on. But instead, like if you want to play a multi-platform game on the Switch, in some cases, not all cases, definitely not all cases. Some cases, it's going to be downgraded.
Most cases, almost all cases.
People are like, oh, graphics don't matter. Well,
they don't matter, but how the game actually fucking runs matters.
Yeah, and having a subpar experience is a subpar experience, regardless of if you care or not. And
I mean, the only games I can think of that I've got that I've tried kind of like comparing were like Skyrim, works great, and Doom actually looks good, works fine. Noticeably not as crisp as the Xbox and PS4 versions, but passable. I actually kind of hate playing. Like I actually had to use the kickstand and use my Pro controller because I actually could not stand playing Doom in the handheld mode. I don't. It bugged the shit out. I don't know. Just all of a sudden, it just felt like garbage to hold. And I've played and beaten a ton of games on it already. But this is the first game I was ever like, Like I was just holding a piece of crap. Like, holy man, I'm not holding a controller made for shooter games. So I busted out the Pro controller and played a bunch on there. Then it was fine.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the same as the Wii U. I use the Wii U tablet for everything. And then the first game I ever played where I was like, I need a fucking Pro controller was Smash Bros. And Breath of the Wild. I was like, I cannot use this to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, when I started Breath of the Wild, I played it for like an hour. And I was like, yeah, no. And I immediately then went out and bought a Pro controller.
I'm sorry. I didn't have an extra one at that point.
And you gave me a Wii U.
Yeah.
Not going to complain that you didn't give me a Pro controller.
You're just
But
gonna cast subtle shit.
I will say the two like silliest things I've been seeing many people state is that they're excited for the Switch Lite because of the colors it comes in, or the worst, the absolute worst. And these people are dead serious. They're like, cool, I could buy a Switch Lite so I could just leave my Switch in the dock at all times.
Okay.
I mean, come on. Why is this
really
thing called the Switch to begin with? Because you could switch from dock to mode or handheld.
on the go.
Now it's not even the Switch. They should call it the Static.
Just stay the same.
I don't know. It's whatever. I'm not upset or offended that they released
the single use.
It's just I don't know. It's
the Nintendo single use console. There's a single way to play it. There's a single. I don't know. I don't care either. I just think.
Yeah.
I just whatever.
Come on, Switch Pro. Sell me. You want me to buy your system used? Release.
Just buy one already. You've got you got to have like 12 Switch games by now.
No, I only got like 3 or 4. And like I said, most of them are like limited.
You could have 12 Switch games. I meant to say.
I could, but I don't know if there's 12 Switch games I want.
There are. Once you had one, you'd find them. I swear.
And that's another problem.
This is like me. I don't go out of my way for Switch games, but even I've got a pretty sizable library for how much I care about the system.
Yeah.
Like I'm basically only buy games that are only on it. I've not bought very many of the ports. Mario Kart, Mega Man 11, and Doom are the only ones I think that are on other consoles. Oh, Skyrim. But yeah, really.
There's a few games.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't buy Bloodstained on it though.
Yeah.
Shit, that's a mess.
Well, they're fixing it at least, so I believe in them. But why would again, multi-platform game? Why do you purposely want a lesser experience? Because it's on the Switch. I love the Switch.
On the go.
I still don't
like. I don't know. Someone rides a lot of buses or doesn't drive, and their significant other or mom or dad drive them somewhere. Because I don't get the on the go at all. I get the on lunch break and breaks at work. I get that. I get in the hotel room when I get there, but I'm like, I don't know. Even when I bring it on the go, I'm never like, I've got enough time to sit and play a game that I'm not going to be. Not that I'm not going to be like ignoring everyone around me going, fuck, hold on, I got to get somewhere where I can save.
Yeah. Yeah, is what it is. Yeah, so I guess just for time, I said we were going to talk about Bloodstained a little bit more in depth, but I think...
Well, we talked pretty in depth. It was just kind of like final thoughts I thought we were doing.
Yeah. Just some maybe like... unrestricted talk. So if we want to talk about any spoilers stuff, maybe like skip ahead like 5 minutes or so or whatever. Because one thing that I really wanted to talk about last time that I'm going to talk about was my just because I kind of went media blackout because I was really excited for the game. And then I wander into the essentially the library area. And much like in Symphony of the Night, there's the librarian, and I walk in the library and click X to talk to the guy, and I was like, oh shit, that's the voice actor for Alucard. He looks just like Alucard.
Yeah, there's some heavy homages.
And he's called OD, which is like almost like original Dracula, or, you know.
OG.
OG.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. It's funny that I've seen comments or people like, why does this guy sound so weird? It's like, it's just what the guy sounds like. It's
You
like,
sound weird. You sound weird, even though I can't.
You sound weird for not knowing who that was. You know?
Yeah, there's definitely some heavy homages. There's Shovel Knight. There's Simon Belmont. You fight the Revenant or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely Simon Belmont.
Iga, you fight Iga.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some cool references in this game for sure. Yeah, I loved it overall.
Fantastic. Like, yeah, definitely up there. It's one of my favorite games this year, for sure.
I would have completed it. Like, I would have platinumed it if it wasn't kind of the last few things were just too grindy for me. I couldn't make every recipe and get one of every item. Even with the equipment that gives you more and the makes the item drops more. Like, I couldn't, like, just trying to get all the shards even was like, I'm kind of close, but then I was like, I'm still not. I think I had like 16 shards or something left to get. And I'm like, nah, because that means like running back and forth through a room, killing the same thing over and over until it finally gives you one.
Yeah.
And even some of the bosses give you one. So I'm like, oh, so I'd have to fight some of the bosses over again. I'm like, none of them were particularly hard.
Yeah, and for most people that I've heard, like, if you play on normal and you're like competent, like, you're not really gonna have much of a problem. A lot of people say hard is definitely, like, if you want some challenge, like, you should play on hard. Otherwise, you can just, like, I mean, most of the boss fights essentially, like,
it's up to level, really.
I could just like basically like crouch in front of them and just attack like crazy, and that was sufficient usually. And then, especially by the time I got to the end of the game, that wasn't necessarily grinding, but I did do everything I needed to do to basically get the best two-handed sword in the game. And what the internet has dubbed the not Chrysogrim, it's the Raval something. There's an upgraded version, which is basically the Chrysogrim from Symphony of the Night. And I had that, and I used that on the last boss of the game, and I just fucking face rolled him. I was like, I probably shouldn't have used it, but hey, it's available.
Yeah, I didn't use that. I used the katana that's better than the Zangetsu, whatever that was, the Mitsuraki or some shit it was called. And it had like this slash dash thing you could do, and it would wreck anything in front of him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's one thing I always love about these games is, like, if you put in a little bit of effort, you can get like super overpowered. And, you know, when I play video games, I like to be overpowered. You know, I think for me that's fun.
Well, I just love the combat moves that you could learn.
There's a lot of variety.
And the funny thing is, if you just did it, you learned it. Like, if you just did the command, you would learn the thing.
Yeah.
You didn't have to use the bookshelf things. It was basically more like loading screen hints. But like, if you knew the move, you'd do it, and like if you do it enough, you master it. And I mastered like most of the katana attacks through playing it.
Much like Symphony of the Night 2 and this game, they both have a backdash, which I like never use.
I had to, when I went to use it, I would hit the wrong button. Because it was like
suck at video games or something.
It was like L1 and L2, and any other game would use the trigger button for that kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I just remapped it, so that's what it would.
Yeah, I did remap my buttons because I didn't like the initial layout.
That's the only one I remapped, and then it was fine. But I would always just like it was like my muscle memory would go to that, and I don't know why. I can't think of what game I played recently that did that, but I know there was one. Maybe it was Mega Man. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. I think that's the first trophy I got, actually. Was one for backdashing, because I just backdashed a shit ton and back and forth in this first room and got it. I was like, all right, that was easy.
Yeah, I eventually I was like, oh, there's a backdash achievement, so I just backdashed a bunch and I got the achievement. I was like, okay, that's good. I will never use this again. I don't know. I can easily just push an arrow, and I mean, I know it's a little bit better for some dodges, but I got by just fine.
Yeah, I used it very sparingly. I once I learned that dashing slash move, it would go right through anything. So if I saw someone about to attack me, I'd just do that, and then I'd be behind them. So, and I would they'd turn around and I'd do it and be behind them again, and it was basically like they can't keep up with you. As long as you can input it fast enough, you're good.
Yeah. So I guess essentially, like, I would say if you like Symphony of the Night, you like Metroidvanias, like, believe the hype. Bloodstained is fantastic.
The story's kind of ass, but it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever.
The story's fine.
It was one of those whatevers.
Oh, that was fine.
I wasn't gripped by it, I should say. It was just like when I was, okay.
Yeah.
Who am I going? Just point me where I gotta go kill a cool.
What do I gotta kill?
Point me at a cool looking thing to kill, and I'll go do that. And that's basically all you need in these kind of games. So yeah, I got nothing bad to say.
Yeah. Great game. Cool. So let's hit up the community question. So I know it's been a few weeks, so kind of like a little late on some E3 talk, but the question was last time, what was, besides the big games like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Breath of the Wild 2 and Cyberpunk,
yeah.
What were some games that people were excited for? And we got a couple comments. Black Metal Gamer said he's excited for Mikami's new game as well, Ghostwire. Excited for Elden Ring.
Spooky.
Yeah, spooky.
Anytime we mention that game, I'm saying that.
He's excited by Elden Ring, by FromSoft, the Blair Witch Project game, and Arcane Studios' new game, which was crap. I can't remember the name of that one either. That was the one of the two assassins, right? Yeah. Anyways, and then he let's see. Then we got a comment from Back in the Day Gamer, and he said when he was at too many. So kind of, I think this fits. He said he was at too many games, and there is a new wrestling game coming out that is really cool. It looked like the arcade WWF games from back in the day, but
it was WrestleFest.
There you go. I was like, he said he forgot the name, and I was like, Jason would probably remember. Galaxy Wrestling Fest.
Yeah, it looks really cool. They got a bunch of actual wrestlers signed on to be in it.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a cross between WrestleFest and all those old like arcade games like Saturday Night Slime Masters,
yes.
Sort of, and a little bit of Fire Pro all mixed in one. And yeah. I'm hyped for that too. I don't watch wrestling anymore, but I still love my wrestling games. It's just been a while since I found one I really like, which is a shame.
Yeah, so thanks for the comments, as per usual.
Yeah, speaking of being late on the E3 talk, I don't think we mentioned that my mic just totally shit the bed and died out of nowhere. So that's partially the reason we didn't do our podcast last week, as we normally would have.
It's Jason's fault.
And I also, fuck you, didn't get out my E3 video yet. I got my E3 video 95% done, and then mic won't work, so I can't really narrate, and I'm behind on my top 3 Tuesday videos. So basically, I got screwed over on about 2 weeks of content. So
now he has no excuse.
So yeah,
those videos out.
Hopefully, I can get my E3 video out, and I'll probably get like 3 views on it now.
Nah.
And that'll be people I send it to directly, and I tell them something else is in it. Just clickbait them into it. I'll have to put a clickbaity title.
I'll watch your E3 video because you actually went there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm hoping to get that up within the next week. I'm really gonna bear down on that and get caught up on my top 3 Tuesday videos. Don't want to let Chris down. But yeah, I was actually gonna stream Arkham City while I played it too, as I think I might have mentioned before, when I play these Arkham games, I legit, even though nobody's around, put on a Batman mask and wear it for the entirety of every single Arkham game that I've played, except for the VR game, because the goggles wouldn't fit on my face while I played it, and it made me sad.
Yeah, and Musty says you need to stream. What's up with that? You gonna stream?
I could now. Well, I'll start over again.
Batman mask.
I'll do the most boring stream ever for my first stream. It'll just be me doing the Riddler challenges from Arkham Knight with you.
No, Origins, because Origins has I think 400 from what I was reading.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Which is way more than all dealers.
When we were talking about that, I didn't really mention, but yeah, I got all. They were manageable in Asylum, and they were kind of fun to find. But then, starting in the city, they made them all like little actual riddles and do all these things, and a lot of them were like hit the switch and then run here really fast and do this.
Yeah,
and it was just like annoying. And then jumped the shark even more on the third one and made them like ridiculous puzzles. And you're like, come on, man, can I just pick up the trophies and keep going? Yeah. Well, at least I'll say in City, there's enough just kind of laying around that you have to do minimal things that it'll get you by to get through the Riddler storyline. Like I found way more than I intended to go for, but I'm like, oh, it's just sitting there, or I just gotta slide under this thing to get it. So it's like I might as well. Whereas like in Night, I think I got barely any because I was like, ugh, I'm not figuring out how this switch combination goes. So done. Anyway, went up on a Batman tangent again, and you got me going.
Yeah. So we didn't have a community question prepared for next week, so I just came up with something. We're kind of gonna. I think it'd be fun to just kind of open things up.
Hell yeah! Do you believe in skulls?
That too, I guess. Inside joke, sort of.
Sorry. I thought we were good. Pick up the gun. I'm sorry, buddy.
So I'm just gonna say for next week, what's a thing you would like to hear our thoughts on? Kind of keep it video game related, but the sky's the limit.
Or not really. Anything you want to hear our thoughts on, I'll spout off about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the real question is, do you believe in skulls?
Yeah. So then, real quick here, let's check out some games being released in July. So since we skipped last week, we're actually going to go back. And pretty much I just say, you know what, screw it. Let's basically cover most of July.
Well, one of the coolest ones around that I've been seeing, besides Judgment that just came out last week, is Soul Seraph. That looks cute. It's basically like a spiritual successor, as much as I hate to say it, to like ActRaiser. Yeah,
because I don't even think it's involved. It's like not anything to do with the original people or nothing.
Yeah, it's just ActRaiser-esque enough that it draws the comparison.
Yeah, I mean, it basically has that city building element, and then it has the side scroller stages. And I've been hearing good things. It doesn't sound like it's not like amazing, but it sounds like the people who are playing it probably actually never played ActRaiser, or maybe they weren't big fans of ActRaiser because it was like
it'd be funny to all these people would be like, revolutionary new idea.
Yeah, no, most people would just be like, yeah, it's kind of like old feeling. It's like, yeah, no shit.
It feels ancient and funk.
Spiritual successor to a 25-year-old game. But yeah, looks pretty cool. Fingers crossed. Physical version. One of these days, come out.
Get on a limited run or unlimited run. That'd be cool.
So can't talk about game releases this month and not do a shout out of Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. I know Justin. I was talking to Justin about it, and he's already I think he's pretty much played through all the story content.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you were talking to him about it, but he hasn't answered you because he's been playing it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because he made a post that he was like, oh, going back to work after having 9 days off, because basically he had the first week off of July, and I always take the first week off of July because that's like when my vacation time refreshes. So, yeah. And a lot of other people take time off, so it doesn't really it's a very advantageous time for me to take time off because as a tech support person, like I'm not really needed so much during that first week. And he's like, oh, I was like, yeah. He's like, I saw that you had this time off, and I was like, I thought about hitting you up, but I had Final Fantasy 14 to play, so it's like I'm fine. I was like, no, I get it.
Yeah, we get it. But video games are better than friends. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, we're all in agreement. Who needs game friends when you got video games?
Yeah.
Oh man, I was excited for that just because of that giant bag they gave me at E3. Those things are awesome for holding on to like everything.
Mm.
It was literally like the biggest like bag I've seen. It was free. It was cooler than the canvas bag I got for Fallout 76 that I paid for. Yeah. Now, what other cool shit we got coming out? Oh, we got titty pinball.
Yeah, so if any of you follow me on social media, I posted a picture of Senran Kagura Peach Ball, which I thought I had added to my wish list, but apparently I pre-ordered it because I was like, hey, it's finally a Senran Kagura. It's much like Peach Beach Splash, which I was like, it's finally a Senran Kagura game that's not like the Musou Dynasty Warrior games. And I like jiggly anime bits, so I will support that because I don't get to play fan service games because most of them are visual novels. I don't care about visual novels. Otherwise, the Senran Kagura games are always the Dynasty Warrior games. And
you don't need to explain it to us so much, man. Everyone likes titties.
Yeah. It looked fun. It's basically a pinball game, and it has like one of the characters like on the pinball table. And yeah. It's I just like briefly checked out some reviews, just kind of, not that I really care what a lot of people like game sites review, but it's getting decent reviews. I guess it's kind of limited on the tables, which is unfortunate, but maybe we'll see more with like DLC down the road. So, yeah, there's that. And then I guess for those who are into mobile gaming, but there is a new Dr. Mario World.
Yeah.
Some people have been checking out, and they've been saying it's cool, I guess.
Speaking of mobile gaming, as close to mobile gaming as I give a shit about, and topically related to it, the Switch, Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out at last.
When?
On the 19th.
What?
I want it. I got it pre-ordered, and the next podcast might be late because I might be doing that shit.
Well, one that everybody, I hope, is pretty stoked for. This is a game I've been following for well over a year. Twitter, I follow a few like kind of pixel artists, and they'll retweet other people who are like developing games, kind of like with pixel art focus. And finally, we are seeing the release of what seems like the true Contra successor, unlike the upcoming Contra successor or sequel. But
are you racist against pandas?
It just doesn't look totally Contra to me. But we got a game actually releasing by the time you listen to this. It's probably already available. It's called Blazing Chrome. It looks sick. It's essentially Contra Hardcore. Yeah, looks sweet. Check it out.
I thought you were going to keep going, so I just...
I don't know. I ran out of...
it essentially is, so...
colorful things to say about it.
Yeah.
Then we also got Dragon Quest Builders 2 coming up here. I always... Actually, like, I'm not much into like the building games, but Dragon Quest Builders did look really cool. I just didn't.
It was a building game with a purpose. It was like Minecraft. You just build shit and then try not to die.
Yeah, and this kind of
that's sort of the whole thing. This one had an actual like storyline. Like, oh, you gotta, give you a reason to go on a quest through this area, and you can build your own. I really enjoyed what I played of the first one. It got kind of old to me after a little while, which is a shame. or something else came up. But yeah, it was a really well made game, the first one.
Yeah.
I'll totally check out the second one.
And I think the rest of the cool stuff, particularly cool stuff, is coming out later this month that we'll cover the next time. One game that I did want to shout out that we had talked about previously.
Ooh, we're going to talk about Ultimate Alliance 3 more?
Sea of Solitude.
Yeah.
Is available. Neat little adventure game. Looks pretty neat.
Pretty
That's all I can
beans.
tell you about it. Yeah, so lots of cool stuff this month. It's a good month. Good month for games.
Good time to be alive.
Yeah.
We just had that Samurai Showdown thing come out too.
Oh yeah, that too. New Samurai Showdown game.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to like it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So with that said, what you got going on in the next couple weeks?
I want to beat the shit out of some Batman, then probably jump into another Batman and beat some shits.
Yeah.
And then probably Ultimate Alliance 3, honestly, by that time. But
right on.
There's a lot of games I really want to check out.
Yeah, for sure.
I just need to find out how to fake my death and have more time for games.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely catching up on my content. There's nothing more aggravating than staying up all night on a Monday night to get my video up for 6 in the morning to find out that my microphone died. And then I stayed up all night for no reason.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna still put out that Top 3 Tuesday video that I was working on, even though it'll be 2 weeks old by the time I get it out. And I'm gonna keep up with the following ones with Chris. He put out his John Carpenter one. He's kind of had in the waiting in the wings for a while anyway, so that was good. He got that out. I wouldn't have had a very good list to add to that. I do like John Carpenter films, but I wouldn't be able to put together a definitive list.
Right on.
So, yeah, I'll be continuing with those. So I've got a lot of catch up to do. So I'll probably be just Batman videos and Ultimate Alliance.
Sick.
So superheroes and videos.
Sounds good.
Yeah, what you got going on?
Well, I will also be playing some Batman, grinding away at many, many hours at these stupid-ass Riddler trophies so I can get an ending. I'm glad I'm getting the good ending. It really sucks that the good ending's locked behind the Riddler trophies.
Yeah.
Like, shame on Rocksteady. Shame on you.
Like, kind of like a Mass Effect 3 ending type taste in your mouth after you play such an awesome game. And you're like, oh, this is what? I got to do this now?
I wouldn't even go. I know most people won't get in the Mass Effect 3 thing. Yeah. I'll just trail off. But after Arkham Knight, I am not sure what I'm playing next. Not sure.
Arkham VR.
I got some options. I was thinking about maybe in another VR game.
Arkham VR.
Probably not Arkham VR because I don't own it.
It's cheap, so by the time if you order it now, by the time you get the trophies, you'll have it'll be like giving yourself a gift. Like, oh, I really earned this. I am Batman, and then when you put it on, you'll feel more like Batman than you've ever felt. I promise you.
Other than that, I'm really wanting to maybe play some more Metroidvanias. So I got a few of those. I got Dead Cells, which it's Metroidvania roguelite. I'm still sitting on Momodora. Forever Under the Moonlight, which is supposed to be fantastic, and among others. We'll see. Could jump into another long game too. I've been kind of
Yakuza 0. Sorry.
I've been leaning more towards
left a window open and said,
so we'll see what happens. And I think
just get a Switch and play Titty Pinball, damn it.
I'm really gonna try to start putting out some videos again. It's been a while. It's been another little break for me, but I think it's
I wholeheartedly support this.
Yeah.
You can even if you just want to dust it off, you can just do that response video just to get the blood flowing again.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna. I'd forgotten at this point. You just reminded me now.
Yeah, I just like,
the
fuck is Game Grinder? Yeah, so then I think with that said, I'll let people know how they can get a hold of us if they don't already know how to do that. Of course, the podcast is available on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, maybe. iTunes is like going away. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't really manage the iTunes uploads.
iTunes failed?
They're like splitting their services up into like, they're breaking it down more so you can spend more money on different Apple services. And then
just break my iPhone in protest.
Yeah. And then if you want to get a hold of me, of course, you can look up the Game Grinder on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you want to get a hold of Jason or check him out, he is Corpse Flood Gaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well.
Don't check me out, though. I'm not that handsome.
No comment.
I wasn't fishing for a compliment, if that's what you're thinking. Hey, man, you're pretty handsome.
Yeah.
No, we're good.
Hair, you got a luscious head of hair and the beard that I can't grow. So I'm pretty jelly.
If you like hair, I'm
bitter. Yeah. If you don't like hair, check me out.
Hard pass.
So, yeah, I think that is going to do it for this episode of the Game Tenants Podcast.
We love to end it on an awkward note. See you guys next time.
Talk to you later.